Scotty B.
It's Sports Talk with Scotty Burrell.
Either you can or you don't want.
It's Sports Talk with Scotty Burrell.
We go hard in the paint. Oh boy, you better bring it. Sports Talk, a conversation with Coach Scotty Burrell. Either you can or you don't want. Now, here's your host, Coach Scotty Burrell.
Hey, welcome to Sports Talk, a conversation with me, Scotty Burrell. Either you can't or you don't want. Man, another episode here. This is episode 3 of Either You Can't or You Don't Want. A conversation, guys. Man, I got one of my former Team Louisiana guys here, man. Former Cecilia standout, great young man, great father. We call him one of the WBs, but I give him another one. He's Mr. 300, and I'll tell you about that in a second. Everybody, Opelousas head basketball coach, Lorenzo Williams. Coach, how you doing, man?
Good, yourself.
Man, I got to give you some love, man.
Yes,
You're just like my child here, man.
Appreciate you having me on.
I just said Mr. 300. 300 wins in high school basketball as a coach. Man, you know how hard that is?
Very.
Very, very hard. Man, congratulations. So
Thank
that
you.
says a lot. That means you got quite a few years coaching. How many?
This year as a head coach was year 14, if I'm not mistaken. And total is going to be year 17 or 18.
At least you got paid for it.
18 total.
I did 14 years voluntarily.
Coach, same here.
I did it voluntarily, but I wouldn't have traded the experience for work for the world. I actually got a chance to coach some girls, and man, it's so it's so amazing. We lost one the other day. Morgan Pete, God rest in peace, love these kids. I always tell them, when y'all come through my program, no matter what level we coach, you're always going to be a kid of mine. But the experience was to watch these young ladies become teachers, coaches, run their own business, or master's degrees. Man, we got a couple of them coaching, got a couple of them running their own little fitness deal. Some are doing real estate. I ran across a few at the funeral the other day. Man, it's amazing. And having you here is amazing, man. Let's talk about Lorenzo, man. What's going on with you?
Not much right now, with basketball's out, getting a lot of time to hang out with family. I'm a father now, just got engaged, get married sometime this year.
Well, I get to eat me some more rice. Marty was just saying about food, so,
Yeah.
Hey, y'all heard it. I got an invitation if I'm not at the wedding. So congratulations,
Yes,
man.
sir. So that right there, just, enjoying the time while I got with family, that's been big for me as I've gotten older, spending time with family, and relaxing more and just, taking time
So
away
you
from
say
home.
family. That means, I know you do, but it's just a question. You have kids.
Yes.
And how many in boys, girls?
3 girls right now,
3 girls.
21-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
Congratulations. Well, you got to get your boys then, or what the hell?
I'm not retired.
Hey, you're going to make a star out of one of these young ladies, man.
Yes, sir.
But, man, that's fantastic. Got a chance to meet one of them. She's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. She was there in her little princess outfit, man. I loved her that day. That's why I told y'all when we met, bring her in here. We got to put her on camera.
right.
A little commercial, baby. So, how's that going, man? Fatherhood, basketball, and teaching and all that. How's that going?
It's been great. It was new for me, and it actually settled me down big time. Got to understand there's more to life than just basketball, because that's all I knew. And getting to go home and after a long night, a long day, and the first thing you see is the smiles on your family face that you're home.
Man,
So that's been great to see. And it's actually been beneficial for me.
Well, you need that shoulder to not cry on or just lay on, just somebody to hold you and say, I love you now. I know that because I credit that to my wife. We've been together for a long, long time. And boy, I get some tough criticism some days, but you know what? She's not trying to beat us up, or she's just trying to make us understand it's a whole different world when you get home.
Yes.
You got to leave the basketball at the gym.
That's right.
You can't take the films home, but we do it anyway.
That's right.
But that's just a way of saying you have to learn how to separate that, because it will come a time where you won't coach again, you won't play again. Because I tell you, it hit me hard when I stopped coaching. It really I'm like you, that's all I did, that's all I know.
That's all I did.
I don't even change the oil in my car.
I'm trying to tell you, I know the
So that's all I did, man. So Lorenzo, let's tell us, man, who's Lorenzo Williams? I know, let's tell everybody out there Who's Lorenzo Williams?
Product of Cecilia High, born and raised in Breaux Bridge. Probably was illegal back in the day, but a lot of people don't understand. My grandmother stayed right at my Potions.
Right.
And so coming up, we would take the drive every morning to Cecilia, get off the bus, and then go back to Breaux Bridge at night. And so as I got older, nobody had knew about me and my brothers because we was in Breaux Bridge, but we wouldn't come outside. We was always in Cecilia. And so, didn't really play sports at a young age. Got older, about 8, I'll say 8 years old. I was in the 4th grade. And Tesh Elementary had a basketball team. And my brother Alfonso, he tried it out and he made the team. And so he came home excited, and so he brought basketball back home to us. And nobody in the family played.
Right, because I know your dad, and not, I mean, I didn't realize that nobody on mama's side, I knew your dad, them family first.
Yeah, nobody really played. Like, they probably played at home.
Right.
Everybody played outside. But for us, that was new. And so when he brought it there, it was like learning how to dribble, double dribble, was travel, how to shoot a basketball, and we really didn't know nothing about it. And so a lot of people think that, they got all these trainers and nowadays, but we didn't have none of that.
No.
And so we just literally had a goal outside, and it was just a big brother practicing on what he learned in practice, and me, just a little brother, picking it up, trying to figure it out, and also I was his practice dummy. And so we had a lot of games back
When you get beat up, you do learn a lot.
That's right.
You either learn how to fight back,
That's right.
or how to run.
Exactly.
But you do learn a lot.
You do learn a lot. And so, after about 2 years of that, I was in the 6th grade, so I was 10. I was always a younger from my class.
Right.
And so I went out there to Summer League, which I wish they still had. Big Dave.
Trying to get that back, man. It's just so much with the schools nowadays.
Big Dave had that program back in the day, and Alfonso found out about it, and so my mom signed us up. It was free. Got the T-shirts and everything. So we go to Breaux Bridge High, junior high, for the games. And I think that's where I started off with basketball, because I had a coach, Coach Pete, back in the day.
Mr. Dennis Pete. Kind of heavy set guy.
Well,
let's give another little shout out. Another guy that helped Team Louisiana, helped St. Martin Parish. Right? He recently passed away a couple of years ago.
Didn't know that.
And you didn't see, so that's why we have these conversations.
Yes, sir.
And the young lady that I spoke about in our previous segment shows that passed away was his daughter, if I call it.
Really?
Yeah. And so my heart goes out to that family.
Yes,
and
sir.
to the people.
That was a good family.
Absolutely. They had moved to Breaux Bridge, but my heart goes out to them. So God bless you guys. But go ahead and continue.
Yeah, and so, Mr. Pete was my coach. Didn't know much, and he took me under the wing. And after our first practice, I think he fell in love with me. And he used to make sure he come pick me up for practice every day.
That's the type of person he
That's
was.
the type of, we used to drive in that, I think it was an LTD back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And he would come get me, and we would go to practice, and he made sure I came to every game. And first game, I think I had like 20 something as a 10-year-old. And I took that team all the way to the championship, but we ended up losing.
Because we used to go and battle St. Martinville.
But at my first year, we didn't make it. We lost to go to St. Martin.
Okay.
To a team, and everybody in Breaux Bridge was like, "Who's that kid?" Because they had never seen him.
Right.
And then you got somebody scoring 20-some a game as a 10-year-old. Back in the day, that was kind of not heard of. Nowadays, kids do that now, but back then, nobody was doing that. And so the following year, I'm going to junior high, going to 7th grade, and I'm Alfonso's little brother who's going to high school. And so you're hearing about him at the high school, and you're like, yeah, you got this one, but you got that little brother. That's the one. And it was the experience of Summer League prepared me for that year. And I must say, it was fun. And till this day, I never lost at Summer League after that.
Well, I must say that little league was tough because you had a lot of good athletes in St. Martinville because Darryl Mitchell was with Alfonso them age.
That's right.
And
Yeah, early Doucette.
Early Doucette was there,
Your son.
and then my son and some of the girls,
Jonas.
Jonas. It was a lot of decent basketball where the gyms were packed. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it was packed. And you're right, I'll never forget those days, man.
You got the kids to come out, I must say, and those were some good days for me. And I must say, to represent, people don't understand. In the summer, I was Brew Bridge.
Yeah.
So my friend Cecilia kind of looking at me like, hey, what you doing?
Well, they put the two little towns together to make one team.
But I was never on that team.
Right.
So I would always take the team, no matter what. 9 and 10 might get there every year, but my teams always would beat someone. So a lot of times I was the only team
To
that was
beat
represented
someone.
to beat.
And boy, Mr. Peter, go get you. But they used to talk about it. Say, got a little fella.
Yes, sir.
A little fella, man. He's a left-hander, but coach, he can be able to play. I'm like, okay, we gonna see.
And then after that, Corey Lewis, and Brandon Gregory, they made sure I was on their teams after that.
Yeah.
A lot of times Big Dave was like, hey, Corey, you got to put him on somebody else's team. But Corey and Brandon made sure I was always with them. And, those were some good days, I must say. And to represent, that area, to win it every summer was big. And it gave me a name for myself.
Well, that was practice. People didn't realize, since you mentioned earlier, they didn't have the trainers. And I never realized it too as a young kid. Man, I played so freaking much. Tell my mom I had to get my own laundry basket. I had stinky, wet, sweaty clothes and socks. You're like, oh no, you just sweating 4 or 5 different times a day.
Yeah.
That's how much I played. And never realized, because I can honestly say, I've never once, whoever knew me as a player, went in the gym and said, let me go dribble. I didn't have to. I ain't had time. You had to play and learn on the run. And back then, the park was just built, and it gave me a sense of stability playing against all these older guys and realizing that I can play. But moving back on to you, we watch you grow up, we watch you as a player, then here comes high school. What goes next?
Coming in high school was very interesting. I was me, early Doucette, Ernie Pickens, we were some of the top guys in the area. And being that I was staying in Brew Bridge actually wanted to come to Brew Bridge. So they tried to, I remember it was my assistant principal. He was from Brew Bridge, and so they knew I was here, so they called the LHSA on me. And so Coach Lewis had to do paperwork showing that I've always been at Cecilia. And so my freshman year, at the beginning, I had to sit out until they cleared me.
That's why we come to Sports Talk.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. And so I almost had to go to Brew Bridge, and it worked out because my brother was there. They showed that we stayed in Cecilia and went there.
Because y'all went to school from day one.
Yeah.
See, y'all never came from kindergarten,
No.
First or third grade.
So freshman year, Brew Bridge almost got me. And, it would have been fun either way, but I was there. It kind of worked out how perfectly. I got to play my brother 2 years. My first year, coming in as an 8th grader, I'm kind of like the mindset these kids got now. I'm one of the top guys. I expect to play right away. And it didn't work out that way. And I honestly think that worked out best for me because I wouldn't have learned as much as I learned.
You kind of got like what they do in college is called a red shirt.
Yeah.
And when people don't believe that's a very good year if you take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say take advantage, don't sit back and say, I ain't got to practice for 9 more months. No, get in the gym, work on the game, watch the coaches that you're going to play for, their philosophy, what they want to do, what they like to do, what some of your players around you like to do. So when you do get that chance to mesh with them, you can basically think what they're thinking right away. So that was a good thing too, people, if you look at it.
And I actually got hurt. I fractured my wrist. So even having to sit down every game and watch, I learned a lot. We had a pretty good year. We made the playoffs. We was a wild card. But the next year, my brother started playing football. So it kind of opened up for the team to grow. Because you don't have your star player.
Right.
And so it helped me and a lot of other guys grow. And at the beginning of the year, once again, high expectations. It's my 2nd year. I'm expecting to play a lot, and once again, it didn't work out as well. And I remember like it was yesterday. It was after the Beauchamp tournament. I remember I cried in that locker room. I didn't play a minute in that game. And Coach Joseph Williams, who's actually still coaching now, he was a manager.
Oh, took it.
I remember he came in the locker room and he sat with me. He's like, man, it's gonna be look, it's okay. Get back to work. Get in the gym. And I'll say this till this day, he was the guy that changed my mindset after that. Because now I started watching college games, and one thing I learned was how to guard. I watched Jason Williams and Chris Duhon do. I was watching the game and how they moved their feet, and I made him say, you know what? If coach ain't gonna get me for offense, he ain't got no choice to put me for defense.
Right.
And so every day in practice, I was in the third group, and I battled the second group. Next thing you know, coach put me in the second group, and I battled the first group. And when I looked, I remember it was a senior, and he had been starting. And he went through a slump, and coach liked the defense part that I was bringing to it, and I ended up taking the spot.
Wow.
And
hard work. Hard work.
And he ended up quitting. And I remember like it was yesterday, me, my brother, and 2 other starters, we went to his house in Nashville, right down the road, and told him, look, you are a big piece of this puzzle. Yeah, I'm starting, but when you come in, you can be the spark that we need. Mm-hmm. And you can ask Coach Marty Lewis. We went on an 18, 19 game win streak.
Wow, amazing.
And
who was that fella, if you want to say?
Harvey Noel.
Okay.
Yeah, still friends to this day. It's just, you know.
Well, people don't understand the word team a lot. If I must elaborate a little bit, when they say team, that don't mean you starting.
That's right.
That don't mean you coming off the bench. That mean everybody. Cause somebody get hurt, somebody get sick, somebody can have emergency in the family, but it's the next man up. That's why they allow you to have so many players out there, because you will get an opportunity.
That's right.
You just got to take advantage.
You got to take advantage.
You know what I mean, that's why we call it a team. You know, no matter how you slice it, it still comes up peanut like the old commercial.
And after that, I mean, kind of like Coach said was talking about earlier, we made it to the third round. And with that team there, we had one district, went 8-0. To me, that was probably one of the best teams that came through. Played those team out of Bunkie. Had a few big guys, you know. It was a good run. You know, I think we had them, we just didn't finish it. But that senior class that left after that, I think the foundation was laid for, you know, for the next coming years. Because my junior year was the year that I came up, and that was big for me. You know, I learned a lot. I was ready to lead a team, and those next 2 years for me, you know, were very special, because now your brother who's been in your shadow all those years is gone.
Right.
And it's my turn to take my team and do something with that.
How big was that? Like, playing with my brother, man. He's an all-stater. He's going out to UL, play ball. How big is that in your mind? Was that looking up to someone like that? Especially you got someone to look up to that you go home to every night. How big was that, man?
It was real big for me, because I looked up to him so much, and it was like whatever he did, I tried to do exactly that.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't where I want to do better than that. It was more I just want to do what he did.
Because what he did was right.
What he did was right, you know. So for me, it was just mimicking what he did, and try to, you know, work as hard as he did. And a lot of people didn't realize I was trying to get Coach's attention, because I knew Coach had like him so much.
Gotcha. All right. Hey,
so,
only on Sports Talk.
Yeah,
man.
and so for me, you know, it was fun. We had some real good times together. I wish we had one more year, because that first year, you know,
You're right. You missed it. That extra year. But it got to be fun, because I have a brother that's about 7 years older than me, and we still have the conversation till today. I was better than you. I was like, yeah, you averaged 9 points a game.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did that when I went to halftime.
I'll say this, I'll pass this point.
Right, look at that. So we got to have that competitiveness in the house and stuff. But like at home, then you had Donovan come up after that. But how was it being the man in the middle? I'm catching one up, and I got one underneath me trying to catch up. Why was that? It had to be fun, though.
Yeah, because, you know, by then, once I was in college, Donovan's in the 7th grade, 8th grade.
Okay.
And I just knew with him, we were both in school, so we really didn't have time to play with him as much.
Gotcha.
So a lot of Donovan came was on his own, and I just knew that he had a lot of big shoulders and big shoes to fill.
Yeah, right.
Both of your brothers made All-State. Both didn't played at UF, and I think for him, it was more of a how can we get him to that level?
Gotcha.
Because I just know times are changing. People they're gonna stereotype.
Oh, well, it's like that in sports. Once family member or parent or siblings come through right before you at the same school, because a lot of people do that at different schools. They change the school so much nowadays. It has to be a little weight, but back to you being the man in the middle, so go ahead and finish up.
And so for me, I just knew that with Alfonso still playing, I'm not playing anymore, that I knew I had that role to fill for him. And one of the main reasons I stopped playing ball is when I got into coaching. And it was Donovan's freshman year.
Oh, wow.
And so having to coach him that first year, and I got a little taste of the feeling of it, it made me not want to go back to play.
You want to become a coach.
I wanted to be a coach, and Donovan was my first kid that I got to get to the next level.
Man.
And so it didn't help that he was my brother, but it just he wanted it. I'll say that because he wasn't as good as us at that age.
I'll tell you what, he's a hell of a shooter. Now,
And so he worked, and that's when he played for you at something.
yeah.
I had just finished with, we was working hard that summer, and then you was like, y'all had the AAU going, y'all took him, and I'm getting calls from you, coach, man, your brother's out here scoring a lot.
Well, I tell you what, I'm not on ESPN yet, but if I give you my basketball opinion, I'm pretty 95% correct. And I saw you guys coming up, and I said, first of all, y'all were special because, believe it or not, people, left-handed people are very unique athletes. You don't see too many of that, especially in basketball, on one team. So I'm gonna go back a minute. 2004, 2005, I don't know.
2004.
2004. I was coaching AAU with Team Louisiana, ran to your brother, Darryl Mitchell, Jermaine Spencer, Tyrone Mitchell, some of the best players in Acadiana, who all are now went to college or college coaches or Hall of Famers. But Mr. Pete used to always holler, I got a kid over there, coach. I'm like, all right, I saw him. I see him in the gym myself. But I said, so somebody come to me and said, man, it's time to get your own little team. You coaching, but we can see you if you're ready. I'm like, okay. We called you, Brandon Tillman, David England, Luke Aubrey, Jordan Gibson, Bradford Landry, and Aaron Notkin. Took 8 kids to Division II in Orlando, Florida, 66 teams. We went 2-2 in the bracket play. We made the top part of the tournament. And we went on to the final. I'm gonna let you speak a little bit about that. But we're in a big game. We're down maybe 6-8. Don't exactly remember the number. He come to me and the last 1 or 2 minutes of the game, I'm like, dang, we just started playing so well to lose this one. And this is true, Sports Talk. He gave me a kiss on the cheek, man. He said, Coach, we are not going home. And I'm going to let you piggyback. You stole the ball, converted a 3-point play, now we're down 3. Take it from there.
Right after that, if my memory is good, we ended up getting a stop, and I came back and hit a 3-point.
You're absolutely right. Now it's a tie game.
Yeah, and after that was chicken dead. And Coach Wood, I don't know if you remember, I was sick that day. I had a cough the whole time. And I remember I tell you, if I pat my head, you can take me out. If I don't pat that head, keep me in the game. And how unselfish I was, I always came off the bench, knowing I was the oldest one, had the most experience. I came off the bench because I always felt that it didn't matter if you started or not.
Exactly what we just touched on a minute ago.
It really didn't matter. I mean, I'm still.
Because we only took, 8 kids?
8
to
kids.
Orlando.
And us 3 that came off the bench were all left-handed.
Left-handed.
And so we knew we coming in. Coach Tracy, boy, you had 4 left hands.
Yeah, you're right. We had 4 left-handed on that team, and boy, these guys was like, and the funny thing is, they all could have shoot the basket.
Oh, and Coach, I mean, we can say it now. We hadn't planned on being there that long. No. Believe it or not, I just come back from it. Yesterday, I stayed at the Orange Lakes.
Oh, you did? Man, that's amazing,
I
man.
stayed there for 4 days.
Come on.
And when I got there, I was like, man, I think this is the same place. And when I went around and realized how big it was, I said, yeah. And
Wow.
Coach, matter of fact, that game you're talking about, I was trying to imagine the walk that we did because they had a court.
Yeah.
So we would go walk to the court and play, and we knew we had a game. So we was like, look, we got to be back at this time. But the shuttle was supposed to come and it didn't. So I remember it like yesterday. How we gonna tell Coach why we late? And so when we running back full speed to get there, they're ready to leave because we got to be to the game, try to beat traffic. And so it was a must win really for me because I'm like, I would hate to lose and have to hear that speech. Because y'all went to play basketball before we would have lost that
That's
game.
how much I love the game. Y'all was still trying to find a game within a game.
And one of the best moments for me was doing that for you.
Well, I
Because,
appreciate it.
a lot of people, they knew you, but they didn't know you. But also a lot of people were kind of, in my opinion, they were doubting you. And I remember, you got a phone call while we were in the vehicle, and it was almost like they couldn't believe that you were still playing.
Yeah.
And so for me, I took that as, I took pride in that. Like, this man took us out here. He's feeding us with his own money. He cares about us. He's getting us, we're getting haircuts in the hotel room.
Yeah.
The least we can do is bring him back something. That way, and to me, I felt like that was the game changer for you. Because that kind of solidified you as, hey, y'all gonna put some respect on my name.
Well, a lot of people knew me as a player, and when you come to coaching, it's a totally different animal. But basketball was my life. That's why when people would say, oh, you don't know it, man, that's all I did. Mm-hmm. I mean, unfortunately, you don't get the same athletes to coach that we are in general because everybody's different, and people didn't love the game as much as we did. I'll give you a quick story. I went down to North Carolina with a group before you got there. And we played at Duke and North Carolina and North Carolina State. I walk in on the middle of the court and I gave the floor the biggest kiss. And the kids look at me like, what are you doing? It's dirt. Yeah, it's dirt. But it's just the nature of the sport.
That's right.
The type of athletes that ran through here. In my opinion, watching them on TV in Bro Bridge, not going up to Durham, North Carolina, and being in the same facility that they play, man, was amazing.
That's right.
But back to y'all, having you guys, Luke, who's a successful person, living down in California. Aaron, the same thing. He's married, you coaching with 300 wins. Man, that shit brings me so much freaking joy.
Yeah.
I tell you that, I love it. I love talking about you guys.
That's right.
I mean, that means the world to me to come back and watch these kids because I know I had a dream that didn't come to materialize to get a chance to play college ball because I was good enough to play college ball. People still talk to me today and say, hey, man, I remember you. But that's when I mean the air come out the ball. But no, y'all did an outstanding job. Unfortunately, we finished second. We had a couple of injuries in the final game. But I think what really took the win out the sale, you remember, and when you got to national finals, they would turn the milk house on the Disney World complex into the arena size floor, and the stadium would look like an arena.
That's right.
The president of AAU back then was Boo Williams. His team had lost to go to the finals in Division I. So they were gonna play for third. He actually took that game and put it on the main floor and put us in the back where we didn't play, where we were supposed to play the final game. And they hollered protest. Give a man $100 to tell him that he can't do what he want to do, that runs the tournament.
Yeah.
So I think that took a little bit of the wind out of the sail because we knew we was going to play in front of
Everybody.
500 to 1,000 people. We was going to be arena size floor. I mean, you had the media, you had everybody there, but he took that game and just pushed to the side. That's when I kind of lost a little respect for AAU basketball because we still played for the Division
National
Two national championship, and beat 6 out of the 66 teams. We were the last two standing. So I kind of had a bad taste after that for AAU. But man, y'all did an outstanding job. You went on to college now. You went on to college. You get that first call to be a coach. What went through your mind?
Just to piggyback on for that, the college part for me, it didn't go as expected. I tell this to my wife as well. I wish I would have took that offer you told me. You had 2 offers for me. I went to UL, once again, following my brother's step.
Right.
But you know what, learning what I know now, that was probably the worst mistake. But it was also the best mistake.
Right.
Meaning that if I go on to UL, basketball was all I knew. And I didn't get that opportunity to play. And I was promised something and it didn't happen. And it really broke me. And so, I remember I talked to you going into my sophomore year, and you was like, Coach, you got this spot in North Carolina, or we can go to Southern. And I always said I should have went to Southern. But once again, at that time I'm 18 years old, going into my sophomore year in college. I'm still young.
Yeah.
If I knew what I knew now, you go to whoever wants you. If I could tell this to anybody, you don't just go to where everybody's going. You go who wants you.
Right.
Because the guy that ended up taking my spot was my teammate at UL.
Oh, wow.
Chris, I forgot Chris' name, and I remember he ended up playing Duke in the NCAA tournament.
Wow.
And I always say that because I was in my dorm room, and it should be me. I had that opportunity, and it's like, I didn't take it, because at that age I thought I was too big for something. And now I go to Southern games all the time because I love the game.
Yeah.
And I just wish that I would have did that, and who knows if I played more, not played, but it's just a feel that I have till this day that I didn't get that opportunity.
Well, you're still a successful young man, so that says a lot. But sometimes you make choices. Once you make it, you can't turn back.
Yeah.
Because I look at it this way. I'll be honest, I never thought I was going to coach a game at my rivalry at Cecilia High School when Marty asked me to come here. And putting on the green and gold for a while was
tough.
It was kind of like carrying 2 bears on my back,
Was.
walking in the grocery store. Like
It was.
I remember one day a lady stopped me. Who gave me that? So I'm like, huh? Who gave me that? What you mean? Who gave me that? That shirt. That's just where I get my check from now. That's where I get my check from.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna wear them colors,
Oh,
but
yeah.
now, man. But so, Coach.
And just to touch up on that, and what was the benefit of me quitting is 18, going to my sophomore year. So I still think I'm in high school, so I come by the high school all the time. And I remember Coach Lewis kept, man, Coach, that's coaching you if you want to coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so he mentioned it to Terry Martin, and so Terry stopped me and said, look, we ain't got too many, blacks around coaching.
Right.
Would you like to come back and coach? And so I was like, why not? And so I started football coaching, and I would do basketball. That's my 2. And my first year, football, we did great. But basketball, we actually won district. And for Marty, they hadn't won it since I left. And so to win my first year, I was like, oh yeah, this is fun.
Now it's hyping you up. You're ready
My
to
little
go.
brother is here.
Right.
And I don't need to play no ball right now. And so since then has been the change for me, and I always felt that that's what God had for me.
Yeah.
You might your opportunity is to get back. And I remember every year we were signing kids left and right from Mississippi. And to me that was my biggest thing for me, was seeing those kids smile and getting those opportunities. And that's what really made me fall in love with coaching, because it's to give kids opportunities that nobody expected.
Yeah, I tell them that here a lot. I used to use that. We didn't have a lot of big jobs where if you get out of school, you have one. We had the local Fruit of the Loom company when I got out of school that actually closed down years later. Everybody had to go to our field. Right now, the biggest industry is Walmart. And I use that in my speeches with the kids, and I tell them, guys, I don't want to go to Walmart and see you working. And if it's something you're in high school, that don't mean to slam Walmart. It's not a slander thing, but you want more, because the opportunity is so broad now. Back then, you could have get a job, quit one, tomorrow you had a job. It's not like that. Technologies are taking over. You have to have a degree, sometimes just to drive a doggone truck.
Yeah.
And you got better drivers without a license.
True.
So it's just that, but you went on, you started coaching, your first opportunity came here. Beauchamp called you. What went through your mind? Should I leave Cecilia? Will it be mine one day? Or what went through your mind when they called you?
I must say, that probably was one of the toughest decisions because at that time I'm 21, 22. So you imagine a 21, 22-year-old getting an opportunity to be a head coach. But your heart is here.
That's how I kind of felt when me and Marty spoke. I was like, I didn't realize it was going to be that hard.
Yeah. And so with the guy that called me was Coach James Wagensback. And he was the guy that gave me.
Oh, that's the name that keep popping up on Sports Talk.
He was one. If he calls you, it was kind of like, hey, you better take it. And I remember I had never played football before. And he, sophomore year of high school, come out there. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Well, look, I'll put you in the weight room, give you some creatine, give you some protein, build your body up. Next year, come out. So that's what I did. I ended up coming out my junior year, and he left.
He went to Beauchamp.
And so when he gave me that call a few years later, look, got a head coach job. You want it or not? I said, Coach, can I think about it for a day? And so I thought about it that day. I talked to Alfonso because we were both assistants under Coach Martin Lewis. And he was like, man, you might not ever get that opportunity again.
No.
And at that age. And so I remember it like it was yesterday. We met with those kids right out on the bleachers. Talked to them, let them know we were leaving, but they can always come down the road if they want to put in work. And then the next decision, I had to go talk to Coach Lewis after. And I remember that white truck is in right now. I remember I was standing there right next to it, and I was like, Coach, man, I hate to have to do this to you, but I was offered the opportunity, and we're gonna be leaving, and we're gonna be going to Beauchamp. And you know, it was more of a, you know, I could tell he was a little hurt, but he was also happy for us.
Yeah.
You know, because we had did so good by him.
Oh, that was a reflection on him too.
Yeah,
I mean,
he gave us that opportunity.
He gave you an opportunity, coach y'all in high school now, to watch y'all crawl before you walk, and now you're walking and you're walking away. That's the hardest part.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
And so, you know, I go to Beauchamp right after Donovan had just graduated, and you know, we took a team that hadn't been in the playoffs once in 10 or 11 years. They only went once. And the coach before me was my actual wide receivers coach here at Cecilia, Coach Roy Young. And you know, me and Coach Roy, you know, he was a good mentor.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I like Roy. Yeah, Roy coached a little bit. I don't think he's coaching anymore.
He got a kid that's actually about to go to high school next year. So that's just to show you how old I'm getting. Because now,
well, that's the kid I'm telling you my age.
And so, you know, I go to Beauchamp. Didn't really, you know, we were young, and we coming in there with a mindset of, number one, how can we make a team that hasn't won win? And at that time, for us, was making them believe they could play with anybody. And how? You just got to show that you're not scared of them. You got to fight them. You got to battle them. And you got to kind of have some type of swag with it because they're going to respect you.
Yeah.
And so for me, year one was establishing some type of, how can I say that? Having a little attitude of, you know, and respect.
Well,
Earn your respect.
I see that it with y'all two brothers as head coaches, similar styles. Because when we played you guys earlier in the season, you could see the guys buy into what y'all teaching. The guys play hard. It was like watching the same team play each other.
Yes, sir.
In my eyes, because I know a little bit more and watching some of the sets but I mean, that's how it is. I mean, you learn from the coaches you work with, you take some of the things back, you bring it back. But to me, it was like watching the same team play.
Yes,
But if you get my drift, like the old school
Yes, sir.
used to say.
And you know, year one, we actually had lost a few games, but we actually beat a lot of the number 1 teams. So we had got to the point where we could beat the good teams, but the average teams and teams that we were supposed to beat, we couldn't for some reason get to that point. Because I think the respect part was, we know you're good, so we respect y'all. But the teams that wasn't as good, we think you're too good for y'all. And so it was an okay year the first year, but the second year was the year where things turned around.
Right.
You know, we actually had a whole off season with them. That first year we came in August.
Well, not to cut you off, was the guys just as surprised? Like when I got here and I said, we're going to work during the summer? Did you get that? Coach, we did that during the summer.
With this group that I had, I don't know if they just wanted it, but they were actually wanted it. Yeah. They were excited about it.
You loved that as a coach.
Yeah.
When the kids call you and ask, where you at?
I couldn't be mad. I couldn't ask for a better.
You love that as a coach.
You know, they really welcomed us, because you got to understand, the year before that, us and them were kind of like, we're going to take out the fight. It was a rivalry.
Right.
And so, but the kids knew us, and they respected us, and so they actually wanted us. And so they welcomed us in, and I just think that it made it, the welcoming was what made it so comfortable for us.
Well, y'all, people might not believe it, Beauchamp was always there. But I think y'all brought them back into the limelight.
A lot of people won't say that, but I can say it.
Well, I'll say it because I've been watching basketball since, all the way the Davis boys here. And I was a kid, someone was older than me, so the Davis boys in that direction. So I can tell you, I done saw all of you guys come up. Y'all, Beauchamp was already there, America. But these guys resurrected Beauchamp. Yeah. They brought college coaches there. They brought signed college players. Yep. Or we're going to go, so y'all did an outstanding job. And then fast forward, all of a sudden you get a call. The rivalry down the road. Man, how big of a decision was that?
Well, at that time, the decision was kind of hard, but it really wasn't.
Okay.
For me, I just think it was time for me to move on. I think I had my run good enough at Beauchamp. I just think that, it was time for a change. And when I took that job, once again, I met with the players, and a lot of them understood it. And it was best for me, and it was best for my staff as well.
Well, you know what? Many coaches, young coaches, don't understand that point. Most of them be angry and but sometimes it's time for a change. And I can honestly say, and I was here, I did 7 years with Martin, and I promised him 5. I did 2 without him. And it was time for a change. Yeah, the kids were changing, the parents were changing. They needed some younger blood to come in, and Alfonso came in. I don't want to say resurrect the program. We had a bad year, but that year there was just 9 freshmen and 1 junior. And the junior fell down, and Lord, when you chop down the tree.
Yes, sir.
I hate to say that, no excuses, but Lord,
yeah.
That's one of the years you make you want to drink on the job. I never did, people. I never drank on the job. Because I don't like drinking anyway.
Yeah, I remember that first year at Opelousas, man. And, you older than, but a lot of people still judging you in your younger days.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the hardest part of coaching for me, was how much people judge you on those younger years. I'm a lot older. You understand? I've been coaching since I was 19 total, but head coaching is 22 years old. I'm older now.
They want you to come there and win tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if it was that easy, hey, you'd be in college right now, doing Duke or Kentucky. It's not that easy. It's what you have. And the biggest thing is, I always say this: if you don't have the best, you make the best of what you have.
That's right.
And y'all done that. I've seen it, from my own expertise. I've seen you had some good teams, and I've seen you had some teams that wasn't so good, and you still brought them to the next level.
Yes.
I mean, you had a good year with you bringing your nephew in. Now, that was a hurting feeling. I tell y'all that. I got to catch him when I get Alfonso back on, because that boy should have been with me at Cecilia.
Yes, sir.
And we made a little run, and that was the missing piece.
Huh?
Right, one piece of the
puzzle.
Yeah. But who wouldn't have passed up on a dream of his to play for his dad and his uncle? I wouldn't have neither. But man, you got 300 wins. You several district coaches of the year awards, several district championship. You're moving the team in the right direction. What's in the future for Coach Williams? How long you think you're seeing yourself doing that?
You know, there's been times where it's like, man, you know, I don't know how much longer I got left. You know, you kind of like LeBron. You just kind of looking at the future. You know, life is changing.
But you're still young, though.
But I'm still young at the same time, and you know, I still love ball. At the end of the day, I love what I do. I love seeing kids grow. One of the biggest things for me that I love seeing is kind of like what you said earlier. When you see your kids that you coach and what they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I seen one of my former players from my beginning years. It's like, man, I am that old.
Yeah.
Because these guys are men now.
Yeah.
You know, and I've coached girls too, and to see the women that they've came up to,
Right.
and how, you know, I always preach that my job is not to get you a scholarship. You know, if that could happen, but my job is to get kids to graduate.
Graduate, man.
But also put them in a mindset of they can do something with their life. And lawyers, nurses, businessmen, some got their own business, just graduating college, getting a call, coach, I'm graduating, I would love for you to come. You know, to me, that's my scholarships.
Well, now you know how I felt
Yeah.
when I seen you guys,
Yes.
and when you came back as a head coach, and I would give you a hug maybe 2 or 3 times, and you might have said, "Man, what this man just keep
Yeah.
hugging me?"
Yeah.
But no, that was me telling you, and I'm so proud of you guys, man. You know, I say that, man. People don't know me that well, man. I got the biggest heart you can find.
Same here.
You know,
Same here.
and when I generally I got an old saying, you might remember that. When I get goosebumps, that means it's really touching. And you can see them now because you guys became successful young men in the community. People look up to you. Everybody ain't gonna like it. It's part of the world. But if you don't like me because you don't know me.
That's right. And I feel like that, right?
If you know me, you would say, man, don't talk about this guy. Because everybody got flaws. But man, his positives are so much overpower his negative. We don't even need to talk about the negative. He lost the game.
That's right.
Shit, he helped kids go to college. And that's what you've done.
And kids that most people write off.
Right. Yeah, most of the kids we did help. Right. People didn't even think they'd belong in college, you know.
And I've seen a lot that they come back. Coach, I really thank you for believing in me because nobody did.
Nobody did, and that's what I love about
And I might have never won no rings, no state championships, but I won state championships in other ways. And to me, that's what kept me going every year, is to see another kid come up that nobody thought would make it. And like I say, it doesn't have to always be with ball.
No.
You know,
just in general, being a good student.
Just being a good student, but also being a good citizen.
Yeah, man.
You know, got their stuff together, and you know, and it's just, for me, it keeps me going. And that's been my, you know, my go-to for years, is just to just see another kid make it that nobody expected to make it, and to see the kids that were supposed to make it get even further.
Man, that's amazing. And you know, I'll say this in closing: people don't just judge you for what they see. They don't see the whole picture. How the painting started, how the painting ended. People don't realize that the hard work you guys put in with these kids, dropping them off when mama's late, feeding them when they don't have extra money to get a meal when you're on the trip. You know, washing of the clothes and doing all this. It takes a lot. Mm-hmm. So I applaud you because I know I've done it. But having you come through Team Louisiana, having to watch you guys grow up, I want to say personally, you're a heck of a young man, and you don't change who you are, because the person that you are today, that's the person I want to see tomorrow. Because I like this person. Yes, I actually love this person.
Yes, sir.
You my guy. You my Team Louisiana guy forever.
Yes, sir.
You know I'm always a phone call away.
Yes, sir.
Mr. 300, I'm
Yes,
proud of you. Not
Thank
too
you.
many coaches can say that.
Right.
We want to thank you for being our guest on Sports Talk. A conversation with me, man. Your coach, your old coach, Scotty Burrell.
Yes,
I still got the pictures from Orlando down in my office. I got the bracket from Orlando down in my office. It's amazing. First, I want to say, hey, thanks to my sponsors, Ride Tech in St. Martinville. 337-394-1020. Call Ryan for your screen printing. Call anytime. He'll take care of you. Coach C Driving Academy in Brobridge, 337-962-4642. Call Coach C. She's coaching your children. Great driving experience. T. Sean and Piggly Wiggly here in Cecilia, man. Dane Green and them got it going on. Plate lunches during the week. short meals in the Tico Sean. If you're looking for something that you can't find, come to Tico Sean. It's in there somewhere because he got a whole bunch of stuff. And we want to thank one of the historical restaurant and meat market in the state of Louisiana, Floyd Poche, and Poche's Meat Market and Restaurant. Once again, this has been another episode of Sports Talk with Coach Scotty Borrell. We want to thank our guest, man, Opelousas head basketball coach. Once again, Mr. 300. I keep iterating that because a lot of you cannot say, I won 300 high school basketball games. Lorenzo Williams, thank you, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Scotty B.
It's Sports Talk with Scotty Borrell.
Either you can or you don't want.
It's Sports Talk with Scotty Borrell.
We go hard in the paint, oh boy, you better bring it. Sports Talk, a conversation with Coach Scotty Borrell. Either you can or you don't want.